for yourself. And then these are often the things we make you do in the Passport program or in the business seminar class. So I thought we'd start with a little video. It's a good elevator pitch from Back to the Future.
Doc? Yes. Doc, I don't want to know your name. I don't want to know anything about you. Listen, Doc.
Oh,
Doc.
but now it's...
Tell me anything. Doc, quiet. Quiet. I'm going to read your thoughts. Let's see now. You come here from a great distance?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't tell me. You want me to buy a subscription to the Saturday Evening Post?
No.
Not a word, not a word, not a word now. Quiet. Donations. You want me to make a donation to the Coast Guard Youth Auxiliary?
Doc, I'm from the future. I came here in a time machine that you invented. Now I need your help to get back to the year 1985.
My God. Do you know what this means? It means that this damn thing doesn't work at all.
So sometimes when you reach out to people on LinkedIn or you walk up to them at a career fair, you know, it's just imagine if someone knocked on your door right now, you'd be like, who are you? What do you want? Right? When you try to connect with someone on LinkedIn you don't know, or when you walk up to them at a career fair or a networking event, the first thing they're thinking is, who are you? What do you want? Or what can you do for me? So you heard the doc say like, oh, you must be here because you want a donation. Sometimes when random people reach out to us, we think that they're just trying to sell us something or insurance or like, you know, it's a robocall. So we're going to help you develop your career readiness so you feel confident, ready to interview, ready to network, ready to sell yourself, your personal brand. And you can tell people, I'm from the future. You hired me 5 years ago. I'm just waiting for you to offer me the job. So here's some things that we're going to talk about today. Typical activities to help you be career ready, intern ready, to increase your employability skills, things that you should be working on once or twice a semester for yourself, keep you on track. And I'm going to give you the tools to do that through different websites and apps. Make sure you understand the Passport to Success program. I'm going to go really in depth on the Handshake page. This is the online job board we use at Purdue Fort Wayne because I want to make sure you're using it to its fullest. And it's going to be more important than ever this year that we're using Handshake more. A little bit about LinkedIn. Make sure you know about our career night on September 19th and a few other highlights or things to think about for this school year. So most of our programming is based on the NACE Career Readiness Competencies. So NACE is the National Association of Colleges and Employers. These are people like me who work at a college in career services, and people like Alex Blaval, who works as a recruiter at MedPro Group. And they got together and wrote these competencies. They just updated them in 2021 of what we think a college graduate should be able to display in career readiness. If you're curious about how Purdue Fort Wayne stands, our students do especially well in teamwork and equity and inclusion. And we need to work on expressing our critical thinking and perhaps leadership skills. I know we have those, I just don't think we're making that clear to employers. So those are our goals this year, is helping increase leadership skills and critical thinking skills. So in the sophomore seminar, whether you're taking it, now I keep calling it sophomore seminar, it's because it's a 200 level class, but you can take it when you're ready to go from pre-marketing to marketing or entering your upper levels. Here are some of the main goals from the class, and your Professor Buck Jordan, Director of Academic Advising and Student Success, is here today. So I put this together based on a previous syllabus, and I'm going to have him correct me if I'm wrong and give him his little tidbit. But I am aligning the career readiness activities. If you've already taken this class or if you have yet to take it, this is still true for you. These are the things you want to be doing semi-often, maybe once a semester. should be meeting with your academic advisor. Make sure you're on track. Just like after you graduate, you should probably meet with your financial advisor once a year. This is the person that's going to get you to graduation. Make sure you have a declared major or minor, concentrations you're working towards, and those are aligned to your career goals. Understand what types of opportunity and services are available to you and how to use them. For example, biginterview.com is a free website for mock interviews. Have a professional and tailored resume at all times, so you're just ready to roll and pass it out or have it for when you need it. And we want you to take some time to update your LinkedIn and your Handshake profile. Make sure you're selling your professional brand, your personal brand in a positive way. Be comfortable with interview skills and practice a few mock interviews, and identify short-term and long-term career goals. Often when we are looking for a job, it's like all of a sudden we have to do it. I just got laid off, or I hate where I'm working and I have to go and I want to start working somewhere else in 2 weeks. But we want to kind of help you develop this long-term planning of here's where I hope to be in 2 years and how can I work backwards from there, because we don't want you to get to the point where, well, I think I'll do an accounting internship now, and you were supposed to apply 6 months ago. And just as a reminder, you can track all of these things, you can and should, through a Passport to Success program. That's why we do this program, and that's why it's required for graduation. And we use that, we do that through the Suitable app. So Buck, am I on the right track with the goals of Biz 20,001 and overall semesterly duties of business students?
Yeah, I'm totally on the right track.
Okay, anything to add that you would recommend they do once a semester or so?
No, actually, I think this kind of like hits everything.
Great. Here's a little video that I'm gonna skip for time. Just like a, I don't know, it's fun, not necessary. Sometimes you gotta prioritize. Okay, so first of all, I want to make sure you all know about Suitable. The Passport to Success program is required for graduation. In the Seminar 20,001, you have to complete the admission to major requirement here. That's 150 passport points and 2 high impact employer facing events. And in the Senior Seminar 40,000, you have to complete the graduation requirement. That's 500 points total. There's no one activity you must do. And in the app or on the website, app.suitable.co, you can see those activities. I want to point out one tiny thing up here. Look at my points for this month. I have 0 points this month. But, well, that's true, because in August of 2023, I haven't done anything for Passport yet. But if I change this little toggle here to all time, I would see different number there. So I want to make sure people are seeing that. On some continuing with our tips and sites and tricks, make sure you are checking out Go PFW, the Career Development tab. A lot of things that you need for the seminar class or for this like once a semester check-in are here, plus other stuff you never knew you needed. So for example, a professional resume is required. There's some tips here on resumes and cover letters. And a Handshake profile is required. There's a link to Handshake. A mock interview is required. There's the link down there to Big Interview. And some other things that are helpful out there, like I really like this job scan activity. It's you put in a resume and put in a job description, and it uses the AI tracking systems to tell you what percentage match you are. So it's a really good way to check, is your resume tailored to each job you're applying for? And it could be as simple, instead of saying like the job description asks for Microsoft Excel and you just wrote Office Suite, it's not going to be a match because of the applicant tracking system. So you got to make sure you write in Microsoft Excel. As a reminder, all of these activities we're discussing are available for passport points, and you can track those things that you're doing. And it's usually just one more step to show that you did it. So for example, you could just do big interview, mock interviews all day, every weekend. Sounds like fun. But one time you need to go into the Suitable app and do the activity mock interview and put the link for one time that you did it. And that's how you get passport points. I don't know what you're doing unless you track it through Suitable. Okay, so we're going to deep dive into Handshake. It has had a few updates in the past year, and this year it's going to be even more necessary than ever before. I have gotten so many robocalls today. See, when you have an elevator pitch, people are like, who are you? What do you want? So first of all, I'm going to really encourage everybody to download the app. At the career fairs this year, you're going to have a chance to check in with each employer, like to scan a QR code and show who you talk to. So then a month from now or a year from now, you can go back and look at who is that person I talked to. Like in a cover letter and an interview, you want to say, oh, I met Alex or I met Sam. That's really good. And then they'll have your information. So the Handshake app is really necessary. And did you hear me say that the employers will have your information when you scan in? So that's why the Handshake profile is also going to be really important this year. So the reasons to use Handshake. Get hired, obviously, if you're looking for a job. This is a good place for that. If the job is posted on Handshake, that means they want a Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodon student or alumni. They have taken the time and effort to go post it on that website. So unlike Indeed, it's a lot more curated and specific to you. Of course, there's other ways to find a job, like LinkedIn and your mother's uncle, but this is a good place to look at as you're exploring. And any employer who asks me, how do I hire students? I send them to Handshake. So it's something for you to be looking at. Also, it's to get discovered. Just like LinkedIn, recruiters are using Handshake to search for you. So let the qual analytics do the work for you and let them find you. We also use it sometimes. Like I just had somebody ask me from Parkview how many students are interested in the healthcare industry. So I was able to find that 93 of our students are interested in the healthcare industry. And I could share that information with Parkview if you had a public resume. Or the one time Buck and I needed to find somebody interested in sustainability for a scholarship. And how are we going to do that? So I looked at people's interest and who said they want to work in sustainability, and we found the 3 people, and we emailed them and said, apply for this scholarship. It's also a great way to get connected with employers. Remember that Handshake is used in Northeast Indiana, but it's also a global network. So if you want to connect with Meta, they are probably not going to come to our career fair, but they are on Handshake. So you can just connect directly with the employer through Handshake, and especially for remote jobs, you can work from anywhere. And finally, connecting to your career center for career resources and activities and events, things like that. So like I said earlier, this is a global website. There's 1.5 million jobs and internships over the past year are posted to Handshake. So that's why it's really annoying to scroll if you don't use the different filters well, like location or type of job or industry, because there's so many opportunities out there, but there's so many opportunities out there. So if you're looking for something very specific, like a lot of our students are interested in sports management, I just did a search last week and I found 40 roles in sports management for right on Handshake that were posted recently. So definitely good opportunities out there. And a lot of times you'll get exposure to different ideas you've never considered being a part of before. So this student was able to find the Florida Native Plant Society You know, if she's a digital marketing student, she probably wouldn't have clicked on something like Plant Society as somewhere to work. But she discovered that this is a really cool opportunity to draft legislation for the state of Florida. So sometimes you don't think of a company name, but you think of an opportunity, and then Handshake can help you match with those opportunities. Like I said earlier, you want to use Handshake so employers can find you. Even if you're already working, which most of you already are, it's good to be open to other opportunities. And if you don't want to be, just make your profile private. Absolutely no problem. There's no requirement from the Dormer School of Business that you have a public resume. I'm just making recommendations if you would like it to be. So if you would like to be findable, you can have a public updated professional resume. And what I'm going to do with those resumes this year for our employers who are sponsoring the career night, there's 5 employers so far. What they get is I'm going to download the resumes of the students who have a public resume and are registered for the fair, and they'll get those before the fair. So they might even reach out to you or be able to connect with you another time. And they keep those for probably a year or two. And then as other opportunities become available, they might reach out to you. And they usually do that before they even post a job. So you need a public resume. You please list previous experience, including class projects and activities, especially if your previous experience isn't completely related, easily related to your current job, or it's not very clear based on the job title. Then any type of class project or volunteer work is a really good way to round out your profile to show what you've been working on. And your interests, like I already discussed, if you're interested in retail or you're interested in Georgia, let people find you. So like Isadora, for example, somebody reached out to her specifically and sent her a recruiter message. Handshake is trying to curve the number of messages you're getting from employers. I don't know about you, but I've gotten a weird increase of things that I have no interest in on Handshake. And so they're trying to make it that employers have to take a few more steps to actually match to the students they're reaching out to, and that you can opt out of messages from certain employers. So if you've gotten things in the past from XYZ company that you have no idea why it's a match, it's going to be easier to filter those out. But it is something at least to just scroll through, because you never know. And it's the other way around now. You can reach out to employers. So if you've noticed any job postings lately, you can actually see down here like who posted the job and if they're open to messages. So you can send them a message and say, I just applied for this role. I'm really excited about it. Or I have a quick question. I see that it says business classes required in the experience. Can you elaborate a little bit more? I've met the 200 level. Do you mean 300 level classes or a specific course? So you can just ask questions to help set yourself apart. And you can even set up like a virtual chat right through Handshake to meet with them. This is great for informational interviews. Sometimes like maybe there's nothing posted right now for Ash Brokerage, but you'd really like to work for that company. You could reach out to them and say, could we chat for 15 minutes about how I can be more competitive for Ash in the future? Also, obviously, you can find lots of events. Like today's workshop was found on Handshake, or a lot of different things through different employers offer. Like you can see here, like Deutsche Bank or Fidelity Investments or Google, they have their hosting events. Even if you're not convinced you want to work for Google or you want to work for Fidelity Investments, these can be really great opportunities to attend because you get some cool insights. Like I attended one with Yelp last year. I don't want to work for Yelp. I don't know if my students want to work for Yelp or not, but I learned about how the Yelp recruiters are using Handshakes, like I was talking about earlier with interest and how they're searching and what they're doing. So something I'd really recommend that you watch. And the Career Center, lots of different programs through there. That's how you make an appointment with anybody in the Purdue Fort Wayne Career Development Center. I would recommend Tom Utenage. He's our business liaison. And we are currently working on our employer collections to help you find which employers have invested in Purdue Fort Wayne with their time or with their interests. So now that you've seen Handshake a little bit more, I want to remind you about your other resources of people. Something to think about is who is in your board of directors, who are your support network, who are these people that are going to help you. So if you're wondering who to go to for what, I'm working the Dormer School of Business. I'm in charge of professional development and outreach. So I'm in charge of the Passport to Success program. And I'm also in charge of employer relations. So if you really want to get connected to Lincoln Financial Group, I probably have a good contact for you, or I probably can give you a little bit of insights of what they're looking for, or maybe some culture. Or maybe you just want to ask, like, who's somebody that really believes in professional development? Or who's somebody that has a cool office downtown? I can probably help you find an employer that meets what you're looking for. Next up is the graduation guy. That's Buck. He's your academic side. Of course, he can help with all of these things as well. But if you're wondering who to ask about what minor to do or how to fit things in, he's the problem solver, puzzler solver. He can really help you with the academic side of your professional success. If you just need a person to meet with, you want somebody to do a resume review, I would be more than happy to meet with you. You can schedule an appointment with me through the link in my email. Schedule an appointment with me, or you can go through Handshake and meet with Tom. He's the career counselor for the Career Center. He has more availability than I, so he's often available and would really love to meet with you. And finally, everyone in the Dormer School of Business after 30 credit hours has a faculty advisor. So this is your person that I called him the reference referee. If you needed a reference, I can't really write that for you. I haven't hired you and I haven't had you in class. So it's very hard for me to say anything on a letter of reference about you other than they signed up for 3 Handshake events and attended none of them. I don't think you want me to write that. So instead, you think about really connecting with one of your faculty members. And they can also help you with grad school, research opportunities, conferences, competitions, different employers, different tracks. You know, you might just say something like, this chapter on supply chain logistics, that was really interesting. Are there any electives in that? Are there any jobs in town that have to do with logistics? Is there a master's degree in that? People who are experts in their field can help you become an expert in different professional organizations or things to think about. Buck, do you have anything to add about your people?
Oh yeah. Like how Meg said, this is like a suggestion, of folks that are on your team. Don't be afraid to, get people from outside of business on your board of directors too. Like there's all kinds of centers across campus, people that you connect with are super important because they can lead you places that, just like these people on the screen can lead you to places that you might not be expecting. So, so definitely get with people from outside of business. They'll be able to point you in directions.
So quick touch on LinkedIn. It's a lot like Handshake in the way of having a personal brand, letting employers or recruiters find you. But if you think about it, when someone Googles your name, what will they find? If you apply for a role or they're hear about you from somebody else, sometimes they're going to do that. And you want one of the first links to be a updated, professional, relevant LinkedIn page. And so you want to try to make it as clean and nice as possible this semester. And then once a week, once every 3 weeks, go like, comment, share. Like one thing, comment on one thing, share something else. And you could either repost something else someone posted, like last week Chatty posted about interesting alternative career paths after an MBA. I thought that was interesting, so I just reshared that. Or sometimes I post different opportunities on my own, like this workshop or this job opportunity, things like that. So the cool thing about LinkedIn compared to Twitter is you don't have to post every hour to be an influencer. You want to have a clean, current page, and then you can find cool opportunities or cool articles to read or about your city or about the different things you want to be connected to. And it's virtual. So if you want to move to Grand Rapids after graduation, then you can connect with people in Grand Rapids and follow things that are happening there. And this is an excellent way to stay in touch with new contacts. So as you meet different people, you can friend them on LinkedIn and connect with them there, and then follow up with them every once in a while. Send them a quick message like, hey, just heard this about your company. It's cool. You all volunteered together. Love to see people contributing back to our community. So good way for them to keep your name on the top of their heads. Okay, and then as a reminder, if you haven't heard yet, the Dormer School of Business Career Night is September 19th. This happens once a year. If you're watching this after the event, I hope you loved it. If you're watching this before the event, you can register now on Handshake. So far we have 30 employers coming. I'm hoping to have about 20 more. I've talked to a lot of people about the possibility of coming. So we're curating that list still, but you can register now and start doing your research on that. There'll be a prep for the fair workshop the week before, Monday, September 11th in person, and Wednesday, September 13th in the evening at 7 p.m. virtually. Lastly, I want to encourage you to think about what else should I be doing this semester, right? For your career readiness, career development, we're talking about things to just like once a month, kind of keep these things in check. Okay, I'm throwing a lot at you, but you can just say September is the career fair month. August is update my Handshake month. October's update my LinkedIn month. November's update my do a mock interview month. Okay, so break it down for yourself. These are some other things to think about this fall that I don't want you to miss out on if you're interested. There'll be another career and internship fair open to all majors with a different list of employers on October 4th. That's 2 to 5, so different time. Buck and I are offering some Clifton Strengths coaching this semester. This is something new. We'd like to help you with some personal development coaching. Clifton Strengths is what a lot of employers use as like a personality test assessment, a way to improve, be more intentional about your personal development. And then, like Buck was mentioning earlier, think about who else should be on your board of directors. I would really encourage you to pick one office, one student org, one center to connect with this semester. So maybe it's the Diversity Center and you want to go to this workshop from charisma to Riz, working across generations. Or maybe you want to work with a career center. We're going on an immersion excursion to Franklin Electric. Maybe you want to join the marketing society. Maybe you'd like to join the Bass Fishing Club. So think about what is your place. Get connected. It doesn't have to be something you do every week. It could just be once or twice a semester. And if PFW doesn't offer what you're looking for, Fort Wayne has a lot of events like Young Leaders in Northeast Indiana, or the first Friday of every month at 8:30 in the morning, there's a different networking event, or wherever you're living at Warsaw, Indiana, or Warsaw, Poland. I'm sure there's some networking events or different community activities that you could interact with. And if you did nothing else for yourself this semester, but you want to do one thing for 30 minutes, that's it. You're going to do one thing. I would do an informational interview. They are so highly worth your time, high impact, all of these things you can get passport points for that I have up here. But this one, it's 50 points for 30 minutes, and you really get to learn about a company culture or a career path or different things. When I was teaching and I didn't want to teach anymore, I did a lot of informational interviews with people in different jobs in education to learn about what their life was like, what their Tuesday was like, what it means to be an academic advisor, a career advisor, a school psychologist, a school counselor. Like, it really helped me kind of hone in on what I wanted to go to grad school for and how to get a job like I have now. Probably that's why I did well in my interview with Buck, because I already knew him, because I'd already been curious about his job and how he had worked and what does he like about the School of Business and what does he do for advising. I already had a relationship with him. So when I went in for the interview, and I didn't do that because I was trying to interview, I was trying to explore different options. Oh boy. Okay. Thank you very much for listening. I'm going to transition over to Buck now to talk about the sophomore seminar. But if you watch this workshop all the way to this point, then I'm going to keep this QR code open to you. So please scan this with your phone to get your 10 points or 20 points, maybe. If you're on your phone and you cannot scan this, then feel free to just email me and say, Meg, I watched this whole video. Can you please give me points? Here's one thing I learned. And I will keep this open for probably a good chunk of this semester. So people can get your passport points at a later date if you were not able to attend today, August 16th. Okay, so I'm gonna pass this over to my friend Buck Jordan to talk about the sophomore seminar.
All right. So everybody, thanks for being here. I really appreciate your time. And I'm just going to go over a few things about the 20,001 course that everybody's taking for the first time. Business degree seminar is a it's in some circles, we call it professional development, readiness. We call it advising intervention. But really, it's a way for us to prepare our students for the next level of courses. We want to, it's in the upper levels of School of Business, it's different. The approach is different. You're working with School of Business professors all the time. So we kind of want to prepare you for that. The course also equitably transitions students from pre-business to business. And for all of our students, we're very familiar with the term, you don't know what you don't know. And we want to familiarize you with lots of things that you may be aware of and use, or are not aware of and don't use. And finally, we want to connect students to valuable resources that are on campus that students have a tendency to just, gloss over and not really pay attention to. And then, and then when they need help, they don't necessarily know where to get it. So like a good example of that is the Career Development Center, who will work with alumni, students who have stopped out. If you're taking a semester off, they work with all PFW students, no matter what. So I have these like 3 different areas that students, kind of interact with in 20,001, or they might think. The first is with DSB advising. We have our advisors provide an appointment for our students. And in this appointment, we update your graduation plan. So there is a module where you have to meet with an advisor, sign up for those early. We're getting our availability out there as soon as possible. So they'll be ready in Navigate shortly, if not already, if you're watching this later. Another resource is the Career Development Center. And in the Career Development Center, they do all of these things, but in 20,001, you should have an appointment face-to-face, virtual or in person, with a counselor at the Career Development Center, where you will do your resume review. So check that out. When you set up your appointment with a counselor, they're not really like readily available all the time, like your advisors are, right? And students in 20,001, believe it or not, will start this course in the week before finals. And they think that Career Development Center is there to serve them expediently, but they are not. They have tons of other things going on at the same time. So be cognizant of that. So I kind of want to like give a timeline of the course and give a kind of like a contextual example of how 20,001 works. So in the first week of classes, our course is not going to be open. You'll see it in Brightspace, but you won't be able to see the modules because as soon as we open up, you're going to want to start working on them. And the very first module is setting up a meeting with an advisor. First week of classes, we're helping students get registered late, switching courses. We're spending a lot of our time trying to get students ready. So when we're doing those things, we shut down 20,001 meetings. So the course opens week 2, and weeks 2 through 7 is really, or week 2 through 8 is really like our sweet spot. It's when to get things done. We suggest that you get this course done before fall break. Don't even try to waylay it, delay it. Do it early, do it as fast as you can, get it over with. It takes me time to grade, but get the things done and I'll work with you to like fix whatever needs fixed. In week 10, this is where like things kind of start getting shady for students in terms of availability. So if you're starting the course in week 10, you are not going to be able to meet with an advisor until week 14. We are meeting with students to get them registered for classes. All of our time is dedicated to that. And we will resume appointments with students in week 14 for 20,001. And definitely like you don't want to start this course at the end. So do it now, or do it as soon as possible and be good. I wanted to introduce you to the modules too. These are the things that we're working on in the course. And Meg's kind of went over this already in the presentation so far. All of these things are the things that students should be doing at this moment of time to be more employable, to be career ready at this moment of time in college. And there's so many different students that are in business. You could be a student that started straight out of high school. You could be sitting next to somebody who served in the service, who's sitting next to somebody who is, deceptively 50 years old and just started school for the first time, who is sitting next to a working parent who is juggling and parenting, work, and school while going part-time. So, and it goes on and on. So when it comes to this particular college experience, you might have relevant work experience in your field, wherever you're working. But what if there's a change? What if you go through God forbid, another pandemic and you're tired of working where you work and you want to make a transition? These are the things that will help you do that. If you want to make a transition, these are the things you should do to become employable. These are the things that you should do just to be a responsible student who may even be thinking of graduate school, looking for internships. All of these things will help. And we kind of start the ball rolling with these modules.
This is something Buck and I try to do every semester too. If you're already working, if you've already had a job, if you've already had a resume before, awesome. Then it's easier for you. It's not a blank slate. But every year, every semester, we should be updating our resume because you never know what type of extra activity is going to come along. Like I was asked to participate in Leadership Fort Wayne 2 years ago, and I had to sell myself. I had to do like basically an interview. I had to have a resume. I had to have like all of these things, and it was overwhelming, like to just go update it all at once when it was due in 2 weeks, and like lost opportunity if I wasn't able to participate in that. So it's just something to keep on track of. We don't think that if you've had a job before, especially those of you who've worked for years, that this isn't necessary for you. We hope then is just whoop, check it, and then your resume review will be even more meaningful because it won't be a blank slate.
Yes, and I have had tons of students who are, looking for an internship. They want the internship experience, but they're working at a job, and they kind of need to keep that job to make ends meet. So maybe you can have both. These things will help. So that's that. If you take a look at these, I did a wrinkle starting last semester where we focus on 3 modules and create a simulated job search. So in module 3, you'll need to create a Handshake profile. And when you go into Handshake and create that profile, you'll also search for a job or an internship that you want or you're interested in. Be very specific. Use Handshake as a tool, and research that company, research the employer, like Meg said in her example, reach out to the recruiter, find out what they're looking for, go to their website, heck, go to their campus and check it out. Learn as much as you can about that company only because it's helpful in an interview. I've had people in interviews for the School of Business who reached out to me and asked me directly, like, is this what you're looking for? Like, do you work with students, at this particular time? Do you do work from home? And if they're asking me questions that have absolutely nothing to do with my company, my position that I'm, leading, they're already knocked down the the ranking for asking those type of questions. So do your research. Then,
or the opposite, I'm sure someone has impressed you, right? If they ask you a specific question or they show some knowledge of PFW, it looks like they want this job, and we want to hire people who want to do the job. So
yes. So since it's a simulated job search, like if you're looking for a job, like you need to update your resume. So we do that in module 4. So if you think of it as, I'm doing it for a purpose, that's the best way to update your resume, to instead of making it with an objective of yours, why don't you include words of what they're looking for in a candidate? Why not? Like, you're not lying because it's all true. You have all of these suggestions, and or all of these experiences, and you can talk about them if they're on your resume. So we have you create and update a resume and meet with a career counselor to do that. So you can kind of talk to them, because the revised resume is based on the job position that you got from Handshake. It's a simulated job search. So it's for that job, not for some imaginary job. I've had students who have a little slip of the tongue and intentionally work for a company that is women-owned, women-led. And in their interview, they're like, I want to know what you guys are doing. I want to know like what your culture is like. I want to know what you guys are looking for in a candidate. And maybe if you're in a room full of women, maybe they don't want to be referred to as a bunch of guys, you know, and it's that kind of like little slip up that, you know, recruiters, interviewers pick up on. So have that interview, that all of that research in mind when you do your job interview, right? Your mock interview through the big interview is practice for this simulated job search for a position that you want, that you have done the research for, that you updated your resume for that job. And now you're going in, you know, think of it as if you are going for that job interview. And, you know, dress the part. If you are doing a virtual interview, they suggest that you get dressed as if you are doing an in-person one. You know, lots of people in college like to do their homework on their bed. You should not do a virtual interview on your bed. You should not do a virtual interview with your laptop on your lap, right? Because it looks like you're looking down at them, right? So you want to make sure that, you know, you've got everything in your background right, that nothing's distracting. There's no light coming into the camera that's silhouetting you, all of that stuff. You want to have the best possible presentation for your, you know, for your mock interview, and it's all on purpose.
Can I share a story about that?
Sure.
So my senior year of high school, every week in AP Comp, we had to write a new paper. Every week, there's a new paper to write. And it was always like some random prompt and some random thing that I didn't understand what was happening. And like week, like, I don't know, 15, 12, 13, way late in the semester. And I got my paper back. My teacher said, "This was really good. I hope you turned this in." And I was like, well, of course I turned it in. You graded it. And then I reread the prompt, and it was a scholarship application. And apparently I did well on it. And for 10 weeks, it was all these scholarship applications. And not once did it occur to me to go turn in the work I had already done to that scholarship application. And I looked at the due dates, and of course I'd missed them all. So if you are open to a job, then do this work for real and just turn these things in. We've had a lot of students in the 20,001 seminar actually apply for and get the job because you did all this work already. So of course it's simulated because we want you to have the skill for the future. But if you're actually looking for a job, then go ahead and turn in that resume because you already did the work. Just like you already done this work, go ahead and turn these things in for passport points.
Right. And if you're doing an interview with somebody, they could have already done research on you. So that's where LinkedIn comes in super handy, because it lets people know who you are without talking to you. It lets people know what kind of contribution you're giving or what type of, you know, person you are. And, you know, we want our students to have that particular resource at the ready as a college student and emerging professional, if they're not one already. So some quick things to help you do the best possible job in Business 20,001. First of all, get all of the apps. Get Pulse, which is the app for Brightspace. Get the Suitable app. Get Navigate Student for Navigate. Get LinkedIn and get Handshake. Have them all on your mobile device or whatever you know, digital device that you use, and turn on notifications. You know, like you can make judgments on which ones are more important to you and not. But, you know, turn the one for school on, turn the ones for Suitable on, you know, and definitely for Navigate. Look into particular Passport to Success activities. Students freak out because the earning the Passport to Success activity module is at the end, and they worry about it at the end. And it should be kind of front of mind because you can work on it all the way through the semester. If you're a transfer student, look into the transfer activity on Suitable. You can earn points by having completed a certain amount of credit hours at a different institution, at a different major. So transfer activity is a great activity to do. Relevant work experience is another one. Relevant work experience are high impact activities. You could be at work right now watching this, and you could get activity, you can get passport points by being at a job while you're at PFW. So make sure you look into that, and other high impact activities that are listed on Suitable. And finally, get it all done as soon as possible. There are modules that are super easy and simple. If you can get things done in the first week that it's available, get it done in the first week that it's available, and get it out of the way, because you're going to be doing some big things this semester, and don't let this little class get in the way of your success. So that's all I got, Meg.
Yes, thank you. You watched the first edition of the Meg and Buck podcast. We really appreciate everyone's time. And
like and subscribe, 5 stars everywhere. Yeah, follow this link here or this link over there. Oh gosh.
Here's my Amazon link. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Appreciate your time.
Bye.
Reach out to Buck and I. We would love to meet with you one-on-one.
Yes, definitely.
Bye.
Peace.